come back in then with this tide.
To 0600 UTC.
Hello, good morning. Enjoying today. I'm going to head out and do a bit of a paddleboarding journey on the sea. So I'm going to kind of head over, catch the train west over towards Barry and run paddle back around into Cardiff, up through Cardiff Bay, and then I'm going to kind of jump out in Cardiff and wander back to the house. It's kind of like a twofold thing to today. It's 2 hours for me to go out, have a nice little day out, kind of blow the cobwebs out because I've not done any larger sea journeys on a paddleboard for a while. And also it's to kind of run you through the planning process and some of the things I think about, some of the things I do when I am heading out, you know, on a paddleboarding journey. So I'm going to have a little look at the planning, a little bit of look at equipment, and then I kind of just guide you through a little bit of the journey as well along the way. There we go, sorted. Okay, so yeah, the planning process and stuff, for me, it kind of begins with an aim, a goal. Like, what's the reason I'm going to head out? You know, what am I looking to do? Is there something I'm looking to achieve? What do I want to get out of the journey? Or the activities. So this kind of like, this isn't just like a paddleboarding specific kind of thought process. This is kind of how I do most things that I do, you know, outdoor stuff. There are then like my primary factors that affect this. So myself, so my own skills, my own fitness, my own equipment, my own ability. The environment, so the environment I'm heading into, so that could be, I'm heading to a coastal environment, a mountainous environment. It also encompasses things like the environmental weather. So what's the weather going to be like? Tides, river levels, things like that. Could be like the quality of the rock if I'm out climbing. And the final part is the group. So are the group of people I'm with, are they capable of this aim? Have they got the equipment for this aim that we want to do? And each of these then kind of have this effect on each other as well. You know, for me today, I'm heading out solo, so I can kind of forget about that, and I can just focus. My primary focus is on myself and the environment to achieve the aim I have. So, like I said earlier, that aim for me of the day is heading out onto a journey I know reasonably well, but it's just to kind of blow the cobwebs out a little bit, try out some slightly different equipment setups and things like that. So there's that's my aim for the day. The environmental factors that are going to affect me today, it's an area I know really well. I've paddled that line of coast quite a few times in the past. So, you know, I kind of know the environment and know the location I'm heading to reasonably well. There is, and then, you know, obviously there's things then like the actual weather itself. There's the wind, there's the tide, there's the swell that'll be affecting me. So something I do is I use, I've collected that sort of information and got it here. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it, but I got things like low tide at Barry is 12:08, low tide at Cardiff is 12:30. I've got my swell direction is westerly, significant height of 1 metre at 9-second periods. So you can gain a lot about the information of the waves by the periods, pretty useful thing. And I've got wind, which is a massive factor for us when we're paddleboarding. So I've got the weather, so there's some rain at 1 o'clock, winds west-southwesterly, 16, gusting 28, 1300 then, sun's coming out, no rain, shifting westerly, 16 to 27. That's all I've done there. Those are like my 2 significant times in going out. Low tide in Barry's at 12:08, so I'm going to aim to be launching around the 12, half 12 sort of point. And then I can kind of come back in then with this tide. Here then I've got some information on rough tidal speeds. There's 1.5 knots going that direction, 4 knots, 1.7 out here. What actually does happen to the water is it kind of eddies, it kind of comes around and then back in here. So actually along this coast I kind of don't want to be too tucked in, I kind of want to be sat out to be able to get that tidal flow out. And then tidal coefficients, the actual sort of strength, the power of the tide is a 70, 75. So that's sort of moderate. It's not too big, not too small. I am in the Bristol Channel here, which is like the second or third largest tidal range on Earth. So, you know, the tidal range there, I think it's something like 7 meters, which for here is pretty average. But, you know, many places around the UK and around the world, actually, that's a pretty monstrous tide. So yeah, you know, things like that are good to be aware of. And then, you know, this is the map I'll take with me. So I've got all this information on my phone, and I've just made a hard copy. So then I'll laminate or plop this into a map case I've got with me. You know, place I go to regularly, I'll have, you know, sometimes laminated versions or little cut down versions and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's the sort of basic planning of this done. I'm not going to really go into much detail on it because there's just so much you can cover and so much detail you can go into with all of it. But that's just like a brief overview. So I've been, you know, tracking the weather and stuff like that for the last few days just to try and get the conditions right, because I need that wind and I need that tide to be going, you know, the right direction to actually make this possible. What I'll do now is I'll chat in a little minute about some of the equipment I've got once I kind of get it together. And then, yeah, we'll actually get going from there then. Well, that was excessively convenient. Managed to catch the bus, you know, 20 metres outside my front door, which is brilliant. It was £3.50 and took 45 minutes. And it's dropped me off here, Barry. So my plan was I was going to launch from the Knack, which is that little area there. So there's a beach on this side, or just the other side there, there's another beach. But everything was so convenient and easy. I've kind of got an hour or so until low tide. So I'm going to head over to Barry Island for the fun fair. I'm probably going to get myself some lunch because it is now, yeah, 20 past 11. So I've got a bit of time to kill. Oh, there's a train going past, some cars, all the people making their way to the fun fair. A couple of things I'm doing while I'm here is I'm checking out the sea. It definitely a bit choppy and stuff, but I can't see any big significant lumps, like a big old swell running. The wind though, yeah, the wind's kind of matching up with what was kind of predicted, that kind of west-southwesterly wind, and it's blowing reasonably strong. So yeah, no, that's quite good. So, you know, now I'm out on the ground, that planning I put into effect earlier, I'm kind of playing a little bit of spot the difference with it. Just working out, all right, is what I was expecting, is it coming through? And so far it is, you know. Maybe that swell difference, but, you know, I can only see a little bit of the sea sort of just through a little crack there somewhere. Once I get a bit closer, you know, I might be able to see a little bit more. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for a little wander, a couple of minutes this way, and then Barry Island. Oh, the fun awaits. Lovely errands run. I've got my fish and chips, my makeshift table on the beach. I've got my coffee from Mario's Cafe, as seen on Gavin and Stacey. So I'll have some food and then get my kit together. I do need to phone the Coast Guard just to notify them that I'm going to be sea paddling in the area. Just if they get any calls, they know who I am, and they also know, I'll let them know what radio channel I'll be on and stuff, so if they need to contact me on the way, they can. And then I need to start heading out, so they're going to kind of head out that way, push out a little bit. This wind's a little bit more southerly than I was hoping, so I'm going to kind of probably head out from this side of the beach and just push out directly, try and get out, just to make sure I'm not getting swept too soon around the corner, just so I can stay away from those cliffs. That's the plan. I will go and let the RNLI lifeguards there know what my intentions are as well, just because I know there's been quite a lot of paddleboard issues and paddleboard rescues in this area recently, so just let them know what my plan is, just so if they do get anyone running along the cliff screaming and shouting about a stranded or distressed paddleboarder aeroplane coming into land, then they know, you know, that it probably is going to be me. So yeah, lovely, and then I'll be fine. Sorry, that was a real waffle then, I got distracted by the aeroplane. Yeah, well, that's the plan. So I'm gonna get some food in me and then get the kit sorted. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I am fully kitted up. So I've got my pump, my kit bag. So in there I've got like a little bit of first aid stuff, little repair kit, some spare layers. I've got a CAG up on top, my map ready to go so I can access that easy. And then on me I've got my marine radio, my phone, and then a day and night flare in there then, so that's kind of all my emergency communication done. I've had a chat with the Coast Guard saying what my plan is. I even had a little chat with the RNLI lads, the lifeguard lads, just so they're aware what the plan is as well. So yeah, gonna head out. The wind's a little bit more southerly still, so I think what I'm actually gonna do is probably punch out about 200-300 meters that direction before I then turn downwind. So hopefully by then I'll be in the main sort of flow of the tide, and I'll hopefully have the main swell and wind behind me at that point, which will just enable me to kind of get down the coast and not have to paddle across the wind to get out again. So lovely, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Lovely, yeah, we're away. Board's packed up, kind of pushing our way out now. Beach behind us. Still, I'm sort of just cruising on my knees for now, so I'm still just knelt down just until I can push out a little bit further. This wind's just trying to take me straight into the rocks there, and I need to kind of get out around the headland there. So I'm gonna kind of paddle on for a little bit longer just to get a bit further out to sea, and then I'll turn downwind. So it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good little swell and a good bit of wind actually. Lovely, yeah, I'm a few hundred meters offshore now. Pushed out a little way, kind of got this rolling swell sort of tucking in behind me. The wind's still a little bit more southerly than I was hoping, so it is sort of slowly trying to push me to the rocks that way. But yeah, it's no major issue. I kind of head out towards Sully Island in that sort of a direction. So I think tangled up, yeah, I think I'm just gonna need to kind of punch out a little bit further before I can really truly turn downwind. But it's yeah, quite warm. Yeah, it's definitely some significant, like reasonable size swell coming in. You know, you get the odd wave like that coming through. So yeah, it's definitely exciting enough day. So I'm currently sat around here somewhere, just outside Barry Harbour. The wind is doing that sort of a direction, that sort of west southwesterly. So I'll be able to get in the lee of the wind behind Sully Island. Then also once I get behind Lavernock Point, I'll be sheltered from the wind all the way up this side here then. So yeah, once I get in there, I might even try and get the drone out at some point and get some little drone footage. It's definitely not a super cruisy trip this one, you know. I have to work quite hard to kind of maintain my direction. I'm not doing too bad speed wise. I'm still sat at around that sort of 4.5 to 5.5 mile an hour range, which is pretty decent really. It's just this swell. I've got this like cross tailwind and cross tail swell coming from right to left all the time. So it's just, you know, meaning I'm having to do a lot of work with my left arm, my left shoulder, kind of taking, you know, taking the damage of that, on the brunt of that at the moment. I'll hop up in a second so you can kind of see how much, you know, I'm having to work here. I'm having to kind of balance myself while still trying to get the power on with these strokes to be able to kind of push myself around Sully Island that I'm kind of getting quite close to at the moment. Woo! Getting up's quite hard. constantly having to kind of keep half an eye over my shoulder. Just looking for any larger waves that are coming, just so I can get myself sort of braced and prepared for it. And the type of strokes I'm having to do, you can see my paddles having to come out quite wide, and that's to kind of counteract that wind trying to turn me in towards the shore. Ideally, you know, I'd be in a really vertical paddle stroke, so all of my force is just driving me forwards. But with this wind and these waves just turning my board to the left constantly, I'm having to paddle with quite a wide stroke, which is just less efficient going forwards and just a bit harder work on the body, really. So some waves just on their way now. I can hear them breaking over my shoulder. So I'm just going to kind of keep cruising forwards, get a little bit lower, and just get braced for them. Oh, here we go, it's the first one through. The second one, woohoo! And the third one here. There we go. A couple more now coming. Oh, a good one coming now. The stance I'm using here is what we call an engaged stance. So rather than my 2 feet being kind of parallel next to each other, I've got my right foot slightly further forwards, my left foot just back just a touch, meaning I've got a bit more stability forwards and backwards then. Woo. Woo. Ready for moments like that when waves come and hit you. Oh, I just washed my sun cream in my eyes. I think what I'm going to do now is just stay down on my knees. I'm getting quite close to Sully Island. I don't want to hit the rocks there, especially on this inflatable paddleboard. Swell's definitely picking up now I'm kind of closer to the land. There's also something really interesting, a lot of white water on the go in front of me. So I'm not quite sure what's happening there, whether we're getting some slight alterations in tidal flow or whether it's a shallow reef underneath here, but it's definitely quite messy, so and I kind of need to paddle quite hard for the next 10 minutes or so. Kind of getting waves breaking from all over my board, kind of just kicking me around the place quite a bit. Kind of pushing out of it a little bit now, and I'm going tucking around the backside of Sully Island now, and I'll be able to kind of take a bit of a rest once I'm in the lee of the wind and out of the worst of this chop and swell. lovely, yeah, just chilling here now, kind of tucked in behind Sully Island. Well, it's called an island, it's actually only an island part of the time. You can kind of see the causeway over there. So you can see some folks actually walking along the causeway. So yeah, just chilling here, got some water. It's quite hard work for a little bit there, just coming around the back side of the island.
Right. Inshore waters forecast to 12 miles offshore for the period 0600 UTC, Tuesday the 7th of August to 0600 UTC, Friday the 8th of August 2025. General.
Oh, lovely, yeah, so I got Flatham Island, Steepham Island up behind me. We're just coming around Lavernock Point there, and then got Penarth and Cardiff in the distance. So you can see there's maybe a little bit of white water just forming here. So we're Lavernock Point, ooh, it's getting rough. We're Lavernock Point, sticks out into the sea, you get overfalls where all the tide and the wind and everything kind of are forcing the water over some shallow rock. So it's going to get a little bit leery in a minute. Ooh, it's getting bouncy. Unusual, so this is the first time the wind and the swell are directly behind me, and I'm heading, and it's coming directly south from behind me. I'm heading north, or pretty much north at the moment, so yeah, it's quite funny. Definitely not quite what was forecast. Boy, good, motoring along nicely. Oh, there's a bit of a smudge on this, apologies about that, just realised. There we go. Penarth and Cardiff in the distance, in the Clag, so hopefully I can get there before it gets too minging. It was meant to be getting quite nice this afternoon, but yeah, that's also not come true. I was listening to that maritime forecast that was the Coast Guard were putting out over the radio just now, and yeah, it was just saying the weather was like kind of worsening a little bit, which was different to what was forecast. It was meant to be getting nicer and then actually be quite a nice day tomorrow, so yeah. It's interesting how quickly or how much the change, you know, the weather can change or over, you know, a couple of hours, and it can be quite different. Anyway, motoring along lovely. Oh, wind and swell behind me. Not paddling. Stood chatting. I'm doing 3 miles an hour, which is lovely. 5k an hour. Beautiful. Cool. Oh, it's also nice to be able to paddle on the other side for the first time. Everything else is requiring the left paddle, me to paddle on the left to push my way away, myself away from stuff, whereas this at the moment, actually paddling on the right, you know, what I kind of need to do to kind of tuck myself in a little bit more towards the coast. Lovely, just passing Penarth, lovely Penarth Pier, and Cardiff then is just over there. You can see a boat just coming out of the barrage. So I'm gonna mosey down this way and then hop out just before the barrage, and then there's a little coffee place there, so I might try and grab a little coffee my way through. might get changed, and then I need to get myself to one of the access points of Cardiff Bay then, just to continue the journey. So, oh, it's just started raining a little bit as well. That's minging. It's been quite nice all the way. It wasn't meant to be that wet today. Cardiff, to be fair though, has just looks minging compared to sort of the north coast over that way, north coast of Devon and Cornwall and stuff over there. Ah, we're getting there. Bit of paddling. So that's the barrage entrance there. It's only motorised vehicles that can go in and use the use what they call the lock there, the lock to get up into the bay. So I was kind of hoping there might be a boat coming through that I could grab a lift off. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go the old-fashioned way. I'm just gonna land on the beach here, and then I'm gonna have to lug my kit over and then find an authorised launch point for me to be able to get back on the water. Oh, it's quite nice. Do the swig of water now. I've had a bit of a sweat on the last stretch. Just ticked over. Let's have a look. Ooh. Ah, you're 8.5 miles in 2 hours. So yeah, just over 4 mile an hour average speed, and that's including breaks and stops and chilling out. So yeah, no, that's good. Fab, I'm gonna get myself unloaded and shipped up that way. Nice, yeah, so I've had a little bit of a change of equipment. I've got some shorts, taking my wetsuit off, got some shorts. Got this jacket on, but I might take it off. I've got a long sleeve merino top on underneath, so I think I'm gonna wear that. It's not as cold as I was expecting. So yeah, I'm just gonna get myself back on the water now, and then yeah, let the journey continue. Lovely, I'm in. Oh, hang on, sorry, a bit tangled up here. There we go, cool, I'm in Cardiff Bay. Just mooching through the bay now. The River Taff is kind of up that way behind me. So just gonna head up the River Taff now, and then I'm gonna hop out and then walk home from there. Oh, I do love these door-to-door adventures. They are the best. Like, it's very good fun. Being a bit creative with it all. Cool. Some folks there in a powerboat. It looks like they're doing a level 2 powerboat, so you can drive them. Yes, you can drive them as safety boats. Did that about 15 years ago. It's quite a fun course, just getting to cruise around in different speedboats for a week, I think it was. Anyway, yeah, Cardiff Bay, a gorgeous, up the River Taff and then home. Look at that. Millennium Stadium. We are in Cardiff City Centre. Oh, hang on, let me untangle it. Cardiff City Centre. What a journey that's been. Left Barry 3.5 hours ago, or 3 hours 20. So say 3.5 hours ago, and now we're here. Capital city of Wales, floating through the middle of the city. Ah, what a cool trip that was. Ah, lovely. Oh, I realised that last bit probably wasn't enough of an outro, but yeah, there's our journey complete. I'm like a 10-minute walk from the house now, so I'm going to kind of mooch my way back there as I'm kind of slowly drifting past the Millennium Stadium and up through Butte Park in Cardiff. What a journey, what an experience. Thanks for joining me, and yeah, I've got a couple more in the pipeline. Fun little days out, half days out, little adventures, little journeys, and then maybe even some bigger ones, but we'll see what we are doing really. Nice, thanks a lot.